What's up, everybody? It's your boy Trex, Brandon Hyatt, and I'm in the building with Leroy Pinkston, and we're getting ready to go over a very important episode. We're getting ready to talk about some real important news that we got. We went ahead and locked up a player. Well, temporarily, it's not a for sure lock, but it brings us closer to what we want. And then we went ahead and made a trade, so we're getting ready to get into that, and we will be unpacking all of that and more. We're getting ready to have a very special guest with us, and I'm very excited to bring him on. It's Jacob from WindyCityGridiron. Matter of fact, I'm going to leave you with these wonderful people, and I will be right back as soon as I make sure he gets in here. So go ahead and keep it rolling, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What it do, everybody? It's your boy Leroy Pinky, the Phenom, in the building, coming to you live today for a nice Tuesday edition of the Madhouse of Madison's baby. So, we gonna be kicking off. We're gonna be talking about the Bears bolstering the offensive line. You know, the trades, the trade that went down for the 5th round pick. Was it the 5th round pick too much for Ryan Bates, or was it just right considering the contract situation that he's got going on? And we're also going to talk about Jaylon Johnson being franchise tagged. Was that
There we go.
right decision? Was it the right decision to franchise tag him, or does that give Jaylon Johnson, or does it give Ryan Poles more leverage at this moment?
I think it's a good thing for both of them. I mean, really, when you look at the franchise tag, it gives them both flexibility to work within that time frame. But the one that they have is very interesting because it allows for another team to match that offer. But then once that is matched, the Bears can still counter with that. And I think right now they're potentially doing that to set the market. Hey, what's up, Jacob? How you doing,
Hey,
brother?
Jacob, how's it going?
What's up? How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Nice.
It always helps out when I don't forget to send you the link. If you would just get the link, you'd be here, right?
Hey.
So we were just getting into Jake. We were just basically getting into it, Jacob, talking about the franchise tag, and you're really good at detail as far as exactly what the proper verbiage is for that. All I know is that another team can still come in and have put an offer on the table, but the Bears can still match that offer. Correct?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
with the Bears. Ooh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. So the Bears, it's a non-exclusive franchise tag. So
Yeah.
other teams have the chance to negotiate with him. They have a chance to set the market, and the Bears have the chance to match. So what they can do is, they can match him if they want and retain his services. If not, the Bears get 2 first-round picks out of the deal. So historically speaking, I don't know if there is a time where a team's been willing to pay the hefty amount of draft capital to sign a player. But at the same time, it's a nice little interesting version of the franchise tag that can be used to see, all right, what's really going on out here. I think this is just me speculating. I don't necessarily have an inside scoop on this all.
Yeah.
But I do think that part of it's coming from there's a disconnect, obviously, between Jaylon and the Bears in terms of how much money he's worth on the open market.
Right.
So my assumption is this is Chicago saying, all right, we're going to see what other teams are willing to pay him.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll talk him down a little bit because, the indication was heading into this year, he wasn't asking for the world, but at the same time, he had a great season. He should be paid accordingly. But my guess is, obviously they haven't been able to come to terms on the finances of it all. My guess is the Bears aren't willing to pay him as the top corner in this class or in the league, I should say. And that's what Jaylon wants. So we'll see. I could be wrong on that, but that's just my gut feeling.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm like you said, it's nice that they have that wiggle room within that. And like you said, I don't know to this point, it might be. Is this potentially like a new thing that they've just adopted in between the players union and the NFL? Because honestly, two first, that would bring something like, that would bring something back. Like if it's happened before, like you said, has it happened before? I don't think it's ever happened before.
So I know for sure that exclusive franchise tags have happened before. I know that at least the non-exclusive franchise tag, the Chiefs used it on L'Jarius Sneed, their corner. Right. It doesn't happen super often, to my knowledge. It happens even less that a team's willing to sign that player.
Two first.
Yeah, that or that a team's willing to let that player walk. So the two first obviously does sound enticing, but my assumption is Jaylon and the Bears are going to get something worked out.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Poles has been very transparent about it. He's been talking about how that they're close to terms, whatever that means. I think potentially he might be looking at a 3. Nobody said for sure, but I'm like you. I'm just talking hypotheticals. Poles might want a 3-year, 4-year deal. And as a player, you would like to be locked up for longer term. You know what I'm saying? So depending on what that is and getting that all dialed in, maybe meeting halfway in the middle or something like that. But I was talking about on our show the other day, Jacob, about potentially putting something in there incentive-wise to how many games, whatever that would look like, how many games or certain percentage playing time in order to get some sort of significant booster for him to stay healthy, because in past times we've all been, or not all, but most of us have been concerned about his shoulder situation and being that hard-hitting tackle, type guy that he is. That's, obviously not an Eddie Jackson type defensive back, but I'm just I'm excited that we got something going. I'm glad we just didn't let him walk at 3:00 today. Yeah. And how do you guys feel about it, Dano? How do you feel about it, Leroy?
You can go first, Dano. Go ahead.
I'm glad that they at least went ahead and put through the franchise tag on him, give him some more time to work out a deal.
Yeah.
He's the key cog to that defense, I would think.
Yeah.
Even if you go to, I've heard people talk about maybe wanting to let him walk and draft a cornerback, but you don't know. There's not a lot more Jaylon Johnsons coming. You don't know when you're going to get the next Jaylon Johnson.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny that you said that, and that's going to segue into our next segment with once we get into, we'll break down Gates really quick, but there was actually a defensive back in the draft, and they were comparing, I don't know if you guys saw this, they were comparing side-by-side numbers, measurables, height, weight, all this stuff, and the player, I believe he was out of Texas, if I'm not mistaken. He might have ran a really high 4. Yeah, I think he did. He ran like a 4.22 or a 4.21 or something like that. And he was very honored to be in that, but he gave himself a low graded combine, and he said he could do better. I just very humble guy, man. I really trying to remember his name. Do you remember his name?
Arnold.
David?
Last name was Arnold.
No, that wasn't it. I think it was Xavier.
No, yeah. So Xavier Worthy is the receiver from Texas.
Receiver, okay.
Terrion Arnold from Bama.
Terrion. That's it. Terrion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did have a pretty. I saw that interview, but it was very. I think it went viral. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
So for me, as far as Jaylon Johnson's concerned, I feel that Ryan Poles, being the cerebral guy that he is, I believe he's using that franchise. He used the franchise tag as more of the barometer, because I feel that's right at where the Bears are offering him now. I mean, I know they offered him somewhere between, 16 to 18 and a half mil the first time around, and that's not what he was feeling, I'm guessing. And I think the franchise tag, if I'm not mistaken, is like 19 and a half or so.
19.8. It bumped up a little bit after the market reset itself.
If that's kind of where the the scale for that when you get franchise tag is kind of like almost at the top or near, within the top 10, top 5 of the pay scale. I think right there that should show Jaylon that, hey, the Bears are doing this in good faith. The franchise tag is kind of where you should be. So maybe, that might help him, help Poles and maybe help Jaylon, kind of come to his senses. Maybe the holdup is the guaranteed money or incentivizing his third and fourth year, or giving him more money and cash incentives because of the injuries. So maybe that might be the holdup, trying to figure out those things right there. And that's my guess, because the way Poles was very confident saying like he ain't going nowhere. When he said,
Right.
He's like, yeah, I'm confident we're going to sign. He ain't going nowhere. So that shows you that the deal is going to get done. It's just a matter of probably little fine tuning. And
not only that, but JJ agreed that he was going to go ahead and play on that franchise tag. So for me to hear that gave me a warm and fuzzy, and automatically that gives him a huge pay raise all in of itself. But the fact that they're still willing to work, on this and get it done, that's great. So let's move over to the guard / center that we picked up. I was really excited about this because Windy City Gridiron broke it. Well, actually, they were the first I heard about. I can't remember if it was you, Jacob, in 22, or if it was Lester but I had Lester on and we talked about it. We had a pod about it, about Ryan, and we were getting all dialed in, all excited. You had the warm and fuzzy, and the next thing you know, the Bills pull the rug from underneath us and they matched the offer. I'm like, what the heck, man? So you guys had me sold on this guy. I was ready to go. I was like, let's go. And then that happened. And obviously, Poles is doing his due diligence and keeping homework on him. So he still likes what he sees, and he goes out and gets that offer. What does this offer say to you as far as, the strength in the offensive line and the future of where we're going, Jacob?
So I think this makes sense from an aspect of, one, Brian Bates has center guard versatility, which that in itself I think is going to be important for someone who, doesn't have a locked starting spot. So if he's a backup, he's the type of guy who can essentially serve as the sixth man of the offensive line, if you will. I also think that you're looking at, it's a 5th round. The stakes are relatively low. There's a chance you get a Braxton Jones, but historically speaking, you have a handful of guys who are in the league for a couple of years and then fizzle out. I also think that part of it shows that you're looking at the Bears. The 2 guards they have right now, Tevin Jenkins and Nate Davis. Nate Davis missed some time, some personal reasons, some injury last year. Tevin Jenkins, very good player when he's healthy, but he's had some struggles with injuries over the years.
Yeah.
Just based off of that, Ryan Bates is probably going to start a handful of games, whether or not he wins that starting center job. And I still do think that they're going to try and sign someone in free agency to fill that void.
At what position, Jacob? At center or guard?
At center.
At center. Okay. So, we'll still in the free agency. We'll potentially get – that doesn't stop them is what you're saying. It doesn't preclude them from going and getting themselves another center. I like hearing that because potentially right now, Jacob, am I correct in saying that because he's a swing position from guard to center, he is the only guard he's the only center on our roster right now. Is that correct?
So it's my understanding Doug Kramer is still there.
Okay.
I think he's there on a futures deal.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, so I don't know 100%.
Yeah.
But that sounds like the case. So with him, that's someone who's competing for a roster spot, not so much competing right out of the gate for playing time.
Yeah.
But he's the only designated center that's on the roster right now. If Ryan Bates, you want to call him a center, you want to call him a guard. I know he started at guard in 2022. Last year, he played his reps only at center. But if you designate Bates as a center, then he's the only one with significant playing experience on the roster.
I got you. So that'll be helpful. Now, we only have you for a few minutes. So I want to start booking through the day one. You did a great job. Great read. I caught up on all of it because you got some names in there, brother, that, I mean, I'm like, how do you keep up with all this? I don't even know if you sleep, Jacob. We've talked about this before, man. Get your sleep, brother. Get your sleep. Day one, you had a guy named Rook out of Clemson. What's interesting about this read between, I believe, the defensive line and a defensive back is that Clemson had a pretty good defense this year, man, believe it or not. So, because you had a defensive lineman and I believe a defensive back, Nate Wiggins, but that's day two. Yeah. We'll stick right now with just the defensive lineman with Rook and Braden Fisk. I'm looking at your notes, by the way. So just everybody know that if you hear me talking, this is all this man's work. So this ain't mine. No plagiarism over here on Chicago Sports Podcast. Okay. Byron Murphy from Texas, Miles Cole, Edge, Texas, Chap Robinson from Penn State, Dallas Turner, Alabama. What could you tell us out of those guys?
So I'll go to the edge rushers just because I feel like that's a bigger need for the Bears right now than defensive tackle. I wouldn't rule out the Bears drafting a defensive tackle, but when you have Billings locked up for a couple of years, you have Dexter, you have Pickens on rookie deals. I don't think there's going to be a massive first round investment there or a massive free agency signing. Especially, you're looking. Chris Jones probably going to resign. Justin Matabuke got franchise tagged. Christian Wilkins will hit the open market. That's the only real exception I'd make. Other than that, if you can't get him, then probably just draft a guy to add into the rotation, and that's it. But for edge rushers, I think that it was interesting. So of the top three edge rushers on my board right now, it's Dallas, in no order, Dallas Turner, Jared Verse out of Florida State, and Laiatu Latu out of UCLA. I thought all three of them had good performances at the combine. I think that they all showed good speed. They all showed good agility. Latu looked good in drills. Verse looked solid. He showcased good flexibility too. The get-off speed with both of them was well above average. But I put Turner just because of the insane athletic testing. So that's he was the fastest edge rusher in terms of the 10-yard split, which I think that's really probably even more important than the 40-yard dash, just because if you're rushing off the edge, if you're a defensive end or outside linebacker, depending on the scheme, you're not running a straight line for a full 40 yards. You're really looking at that explosiveness in a vacuum. And Turner was the fastest in those 10 yards. It also doesn't hurt that he ran a 4.46 40-yard dash. I mean, it's unbelievable for a guy who's 240 pounds.
Jacob, I heard how they broke all these records on the line. The defensive lineman, offensive lineman.
Yeah.
On the other end, the finishing end, they had a huge taco truck waiting for him. It worked, bro. It worked. I know it worked for me. And speaking of splits, I don't want to be doing no 40-yard dash. Offensive lineman, illegal man down the field, illegal receiver. Like, what am I doing 40 yards that way as an offensive lineman? I think the only thing that I'm interested in all of that funny business is a top split and a banana split. Those are the only two things I want to see in the comments. Oh, God. Sorry, bro.
Hey.
So what
banana split, bro?
So what about these linebackers? How do these guys make your list? Like, what is it that intrigued them so much that these are potential guys that the Bears might be looking for? How did you and I got a quick question too, a little sidebar.
Yeah.
Are you looking at notes right now, or is this all right off of here? Is this just all off the top?
I wish. I think so for the I have enough of an understanding of, I know, like a player's strengths and weaknesses. I can talk about that without notes. The specifics as far as like the, 247 pounds, 4.46 40-yard dash, I can't memorize all that off the top of my head. I wish I could. That'd be awesome. Yeah. But no, I do think for the specifics like that, I like to go back to my notes just to make sure that I'm, not fudge.
Okay. I was like totally thought you were going Justin Fields with the cape on us, playing freaking hero ball on us, man. Like, Dano and I, we're just trying to suck air and just get a little light in here, and get a couple words in edgewise, and you're just blowing our mind with all these stats and stuff. I'm like, this dude's a stat factory, man.
No, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, you do great work, man. We really appreciate you.
Awesome.
It's been a long time. Don't think for a minute I have not been trying to hustle this guy in the building. He's busy, man. There's a lot of people freaking knocking on Jacob's door. So
yeah, he's one of my favorite follows on Twitter, man.
Is he? You like him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You got any questions for him, real quick? I was going to get into linebackers. We got him for about 9 more minutes. So,
all right. The only question I have for you, if you were putting your GM hat on, excluding the first round pick, and the 9th overall pick came, and you had your pick of who you would want, and 9th overall pick as far as the defensive linemen are concerned.
Okay.
Of those 3, who are you going? Because personally, for me, as much as I love Turner and his athleticism. Something about Chop Robinson that just jumps off the television screen that I just can't ignore. So I would probably go with him for some reason, even though it's not the same defensive scheme, but just something about Chop Robinson made me just want to be like, yeah, that's the guy I would take at 9.
Yeah.
But who would you take if you were making that choice?
Yeah, no, that is a good question. And I found myself kind of changing the answer to that almost by the day, because I think it's a good group. Like the top 4 edge rushers in this class are all very closely ranked for me. So I think Chop, probably from an athleticism perspective, has the highest ceiling of any edge rusher in this class. And that'll get him drafted early. That'll get him drafted in the first round. What I'm going to say is I don't think Chop's the most consistent at this point. Okay. And I think that applies to Dallas Turner as well, where they're both physical specimens, insane get off speed, insane just straight lines in general. But the toolbox you're working with as a technician isn't as deep quite yet. So, and I'm assuming that, in this situation, if you're looking for an edge rusher at 9, you've done your homework on Latu's medicals, because, he had to medically retire a few years back due to a neck injury, but, he came back and he dominated. I think Latu has the best tape of any edge rusher in this class. Whether or not he has the highest grade, I'm still trying to figure out. But when you consider his quickness, he's not as fast as a Dallas Turner or a Chop Robinson, but he's still very quick off the ball. Uses his hands just insanely well. He's flexible, high football IQ. I'd probably lean Latu right now. It's very tough. I mean, I love all 4 of those guys, and I think it's essentially just what's your favorite flavor of edge rusher? Yeah. Like, they're all really good, but it's all different skill sets, so it's just a matter of what you prioritize most. I wouldn't be mad drafting any of them in the first round. But, yeah, I think just off of that, it's a tough call. I'm going Latu for now, but you ask me again in 2-3 weeks, my answer might be something different, so I'm not sure. But that's what I'd say for now.
Okay.
What about you,
Jacob?
Daniel?
Jacob, we hear a lot of talk about possibly the Bears trading the first pick, which, by the way, I think they're picking Caleb Williams. But we don't hear what we don't hear a lot about is the possibility of them trading that 9th pick. Do you think there is a possibility that could happen and maybe pick up an extra draft pick or 2, or do you think they're going to stay locked in at 9 and pick whatever the best available player at whatever position?
Yeah, so I think it's possible they trade out of 9. What's interesting is, and I don't know if this was sourced information or if it was just trying out a new exercise, but both Jordan Reed from ESPN and Dane Brugler from The Athletic released mock drafts today, and both of them had the Bears actually trading up for a wide receiver. So I think that part of it depends. I think if one of Malik
Trading up with what? We've got 5 picks. we already used the first pick, damn it. What are we Hey, I want to get these athletic guys on the phone. Where are they getting these picks from?
So I think I'd have to go back and check. It was a move up to, it was either 5 or 6. I don't remember which one. So the Giants or Chargers, you take your 3rd rounder and then like a future 4th in order to move up to 5 or 6 to take one of those receivers. And my thinking there is if the Bears, if they take Caleb Williams at number 1, then I think one of those receivers is the dream at 9. So if you move up, then that's you do what you do for that. But if you trade Justin Fields, I'm assuming the top pick you're getting is a 2nd rounder out of that. And in theory, you could take that 2nd round pick, trade down with that, and recoup some of the draft picks that you lost. Still interesting because you're looking at 1, 1, 3, 4, 4. No picks in round 2, 5, 6, or 7. So I could definitely think they're going to trade down in some capacity. If they stay put at 9, if they can't get one of those 2 top receivers, and this is assuming Marvin Harrison Jr. is not a realistic option either, because I don't think he falls out of the top 5.
Right.
If one of those top receivers aren't there, I think it'd be smart for them to trade back, get some extra picks, get a pick in, say round 3, something like that. You could probably get a good value there. And then you could get one of those edge rushers if you haven't signed one in free agency. You could get another receiver, like an Adonai Mitchell from Texas, someone like Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. I think someone like that in the mid to late teens would be a really good value if you can get some additional draft picks there. Even if it's not with the number 9 pick, which I think should be on the table, I do think that if they get a 2nd round pick in the Fields trade, they will trade down from that just to get more picks. But yeah, I just can't imagine the Bears having their last pick in round 4 and then not having their chance at some late round flyers, because we've seen the last couple of years Ryan Poles loves having those, and he loves using that to kind of get ahead of undrafted free agency.
So let's get in really quick to day 2, because we got 3 whole days to get through in like 2 minutes. Nate, I don't know where we got off on draft picks and stuff. Nate Wiggins, Clemson, Quinion Mitchell, Toledo, Max Melton, Rutgers. Again, this is Jacob's awesome, amazing list. Max Melton, Rutgers, Tyler Owens, safety. I just picked one of the safeties out of there. And I actually should have picked more safeties. I potentially see that, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've already picked like 5 DBs in the last 2 years or something. It almost seems like if we were going to go DB in this draft, it would be a safety. What are your thoughts, Jacob, if you had to pick a safety out of your group or off this list I got here, who would it be?
Yeah, so out of the list that I put together of the winners of the Combine, I think I agree. If you're drafting a defensive back in this class, I think it's a safety. I'd say probably Dadrion Taylor Demerson out of Texas Tech. I think he's someone where you compare him to Tyler Owens, his counterpoint at Texas Tech. Owens is a much bigger safety. He's more physical. He's a better tackler. But when you're looking at a free safety, you're looking at someone who can play out in space, who's got that agility, that range and coverage. And Taylor Demerson ran a 4.41 40-yard dash, which led all safeties. And you turn on the tape, someone he processes quickly in coverage, and he takes advantage of the speed and fluidity he has. So I think he's more Chicago speed. I don't think you're going to have – and Briscoe's good for coverage too. I don't think you're going to have 2 safeties whose best values come stuffing the run. I think you need someone who can bring that plus value in coverage too, and Taylor Demerson's that guy for me.
Gotcha. Now, tight end, we're looking at Theo Johnson, Penn State tight end, Tip Raymond, tight end, Illinois. That's kind of an exciting take there. We got really excited when we picked up Kramer
Oh yeah.
as a center. You know what I mean? What can you tell me about these boys here at tight ends? You know, which ones excite you the most? Except that guy that caught 2 balls at once. I thought that was pretty slick.
That was pretty sick. I think Theo Johnson was the top performer, the Penn State tight end. I put down so he was either first or second among tight ends in the 40-yard dash, the vertical, broad jump, 20-yard shuttle, all while being one of the biggest tight ends at the combine, height and weight. So there's a lot to like there with him. I think that sometimes that freak athleticism doesn't always translate on tape, but the raw tools are there. So he's someone that I'm looking at probably as early as round 3. For the Bears specifically, I'd be a big fan of Tip Raymond. Just a corn-fed Midwestern guy out of South Dakota. Just
Daniel's shaking his head. Hell yeah,
yeah,
go, brother.
Big dude. Big dude who runs fast and blocks his ass off. I mean, there's a lot to like with him.
Yeah.
Kind of unproven as a high volume pass catcher, but if you're looking for a backup tight end, he's a guy who can block. He's a guy who's got size. He's a guy who's got speed. I'd take that on day 3. I think if you can get a pick like in round 6 or something, bring him in as the tight end 3 this year, develop him into a tight end 2 role. I'd be a big fan of that.
I mean, potentially if Dano and I dyes our beards, you know, and gets a little little tightened up really quick. I mean, you know, Waldron likes a lot of tight ends, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
he can passively get in. I mean, seriously, remember all those tight ends that they had in Seattle? Oh my God.
Jeez,
So,
yeah.
1 or 2 of these guys might make the team. Yeah, you never know. But again, we're supposedly using picks to move up to get a damn receiver from the athletic guys. I don't know what the hell where they're getting from. But
Hey, look, I don't think we need to move up. Especially if we're getting Caleb, let's try to move down and get as much assets as we
force multiply that ninth pick. Yeah.
Like, I mean, and even if we are going to stick with Fields, let's get as many assets as possible. Like, let's trade down as much as possible to get as much as we can for either guy, and especially for Caleb. Like, let's keep this young man upright.
Yes.
I like that.
Speaking of upright, we're getting ready to get into that really quick, but we got to get through day 3 on these receivers and then also Penix, because really interesting that you sprinkled him in there, and I have to ask you why. But I thought it was cool because I actually found out his hand size, which was pretty amazing. So day 3, Xavier Worthy, Texas, Rome Odunze, Washington, and then of course let's stay at Washington with Michael Penix Jr. I mean, what can you tell us about these guys and why they made your list, bro?
Yeah, so it's kind of tough with the quarterbacks because most of the top guys didn't throw. You had McCarthy, Penix, and Nix. Those were the top guys who threw.
Bro, JJ he hurt himself. Oh my God, that was horrible ducks. Like, I'm still a fan. I wouldn't mind Jacob. I wouldn't mind getting him, but if like there was anything he could have done wrong, he took care of all that. I mean, it was like there's some bad throws.
Yeah, no, and I think I don't know. I'm a bigger JJ fan than I think some people, crap on the guy too much. I think there's a lot there.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, just for the sake of this, I think Penix was the best throwing quarterback at the combine. Just the ball looked good coming off his hand. You mentioned the massive hand size, which that in itself helps.
Yeah.
But his throws had good velocity behind them. I think even more important was the timing and placement that he had from, the short to intermediate ranges. He was automatic, and he was more than capable throwing the deep ball too. And a lot of people are going to say Joe Milton, the quarterback out of Tennessee, and obviously his arm strength, I think, is the best in this class. Just the raw ability to chuck it as far.
Bro, I loved how he just dropped it down the field, and then he was like deuces and just walked away. I was like,
exactly. Cool. Yeah, no, I think there's one thing that Joe Milton is great at, and I think that's arm strength. He's just a big dude with a cannon. So I think that'll get him drafted alone, even with his flaws. But yeah, I think Penix was the most consistent thrower at the combine when you factor in accuracy, timing, and then the flashes of the arm strength as well. So moving to the receivers, because I know that's a bit more relevant to the Bears this year.
Yeah, please.
Obviously, Worthy breaking the 40-yard dash time. That's incredible in and of itself. It was so fun to watch. But I think Odunze really did a great job of. Well, he ran very well for his size, but two, the positional drills just looked effortless for him. He was so smooth, so sure-handed. Moves exactly. He moved so well for such a big dude. Yeah, man, he's something else. I love watching him. And
Good work, bro.
Oh my god, yeah. The gauntlet itself was freaking unbelievable. And then two big guys who ran super fast. Adonai Mitchell from Texas, Brian Johnson Jr. from LSU. I mentioned both those guys. Yeah. I mean, they're
freakishly fast.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, they're both.
For no reason. Like, why? Like, I wish.
You're that dude. You're that big. You don't need to be that fast, too.
Exactly. Jacob, I got a plug real. Hey, man, when it's chow time, you ought to see me cook, bro. I can run. I can build. Hey, honestly, I got a quick question for you, Jacob.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to throw a plug in there for my USC boys.
Of course.
What Jerry Rice's son, Brandon, great name too, by the way. He just spells it a little bit wrong, but I ain't gonna hate on Jerry's kid. Hey, what can you tell me about him? Did you see anything in there that you liked about him, bro?
Yeah, so obviously the measurements came in well. I have that off the top of my head, but the size, and he ran a pretty good time. It was a low 4.5, which for a big receiver, that's pretty good time.
Yeah.
His father ran a slow time too.
Exactly. And I think that he could have done a lot worse on that end. And the drills look pretty good for him.
Like that Notre Dame running back, like 14.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Like, I definitely don't want to get picked out of the top 25 freaking draft.
Yeah.
Get towards the winning team or something.
Yeah. Run a freaking, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think Brendan Rice had a solid outing.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it elite necessarily, but at the same time, I don't think he did anything to hurt his draft stock. I think it's probably around the same as it was heading into the week, which was
where's that? Where do they have him projected going? I don't even know.
Around like late round 3, early round 4.
There you go, Leroy. Making our receiver 3 or 4, bro.
Yeah. So
told you.
Can you guys imagine in Chicago every day seeing Jay Rice out there on the sideline? Like, how you doing, Jerry?
That'd be pretty
sick.
Sick.
Man.
I'd love that.
That'd be great, right, Jacob?
That would, man. And if we do get him, like, it would be nice because then it would be, if we draft Caleb, there will be one less person that he has to get chemistry with.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's less of a learning curve for Jerry Rice's son because then they get that comfort level, they got that unspoken bond already.
Yeah.
So and that right there would make sense. That's if they go by the athletic and give away their 3rd and 4th, 5 for that. Swear to God, they better not do nothing stupid like that. Don't do that. Like trade down. Say there's like 80 million receivers that we can draft. Like. Do I want or Doomsday? Yes. Oh my God. Like I can't just the footwork alone. Again, like you said, just
Dano, you got any you got any wide receiver or tight end questions or anything, or are you guys good with moving into day 4 with offensive linemen?
Yeah, we could go ahead, keep moving.
Okay, cool. So and that's the ones that I'm excited about
That's why I said keep moving.
Don't tell it off.
I can see you're like offensive lineman.
Okay, so we got Tanner Bodolini over there in Leroy's neck of the woods of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Tion, is that right? Tion Grable, UCF.
I think so.
Amarius Mims of Georgia. I mean, you hear Georgia, any guy with from Georgia has got to be decent, right? Yeah. And then obviously Joe Control Alt Delete from Notre Dame. So what do you got there, bro? Unpack that with us real quick. I know you got to go. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're good. So I think I want to point to Tanner Bortolini because he's someone I was honestly surprised with. I watched him on tape. I was impressed with his technical ability, his pad level, weight distribution, how he uses his hands, pretty good play strength, stuff like that. But he killed it in the combine with his athletic testing. So that made me think, all right, I'm going to need to go back and watch a little bit more of him, because if he's working with this athletic skill set and he's playing strong and he's playing polished, like that could be a solid starter in the league.
Yeah.
I don't. Jim, I like he has nasty to him.
I love the name Bordellini too. I mean, it makes you getting ready for the endless pasta over at Olive Garden. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's go, Bordellini.
Yeah, no, that's a name Chicago radio is going to have a blast with.
He's going to love some Chicago.
This is Chicago, not Indiana. They got better Italian restaurants than Olive Garden.
I love it.
All right, so what else we got on Doc? Who else are you looking at?
Yeah, so I think that real quick, I think Joe Alt did what he did what he needed to do to solidify himself as the top tackle in this class. Oh yeah. I think he's going to be a top 5 pick. I think he'll probably go to the Chargers at 5.
That's awesome.
Maybe 4. I mean, we'll see what the Patriots do at quarterback at 3. If they go Marvin Harrison, then maybe the Cardinals want to go Alt at 4. I don't know, but that would be pretty sick.
Top 5 picks for no lineman. I'm going to shed it to you. That too.
I would love that.
Yeah,
so cool.
I mean, it'd be crazy to let him go past 5. Honestly, he's everything: size, speed, strength, technique. His anchor is like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in a long time.
Absolutely.
Like,
and for a dude who's that tall too, it's really impressive.
Dude, he is very tall.
Oh my gosh,
huge specimen.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, and speaking of huge, Amarius Mims from Georgia, you mentioned, he's 6'7", 340 pounds.
Wow.
340 pounds. So he's a big cat. Over 36-inch arms, 11-inch hands. That's like almost a foot. Friggin' unbelievable with that.
11-inch.
And he's running a sub 5'1". Like he's running still insane times. Kind of reminds me of like Mekhi Becton running that insane 40-yard dash time.
Dude, could you imagine that guy with a loafa pad in the shower? Like it looked like it looked like a Q-tip, bro. Be like, hey.
Yeah. Jesus, yeah, no, that's a
7-inch.
That's a big dude. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to think about that dude in the shower.
No,
yeah, I definitely.
No, big cat.
What do they do on the Windy City Breeze when you say something that's on? Pause.
Oh my god!
Flag on the play.
Oh Lord, I love it.
Or a bar of soap, dude. Like freaking.
Yeah.
God, Jesus! Like this is a massive human being.
Yeah,
He looks like a chick.
Let's go with that.
Those guys are just massive human beings.
Yeah,
Crazy, talented.
No fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man. You know what? Tell everybody real quick, Jake, where everybody could find you, and if you want to drop us any like nugget of the days, anything that'll blow our mind that you have like some predictions, feel free. But definitely tell everybody where we could find you if they don't already. Most people already know. So.
Yeah, so I don't think I have anything mind-blowing this time. And next time around, if I get anything, then I'll make sure to let you guys know. But, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Jacob Infante 24. The handle's there at the bottom by my face there. I write stuff over at WindyCityGridiron. You can check that out. And my draft guide that I'm going to have on my Patreon is going to come out in the next month or so. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be my pet project for the next couple weeks. And
how much is that?
So it goes down to it's as low as $1 a month.
Bro, it's worth every freaking
That's not
so as far as that goes, you'll be getting my draft guide. A lot of other
get in Jacob's head for $1 a month is insane, folks.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So it's
hey, speaking of which, Jacob, I remember what I asked you the last year. I said, was there anybody that you picked from the year before that you hit a slam dunk on, a home run on, that you were like, this is the guy, and you're like, see, I told you so, guys. And then maybe there was a guy you're like, oh my God, you know.
That's a good question. So I will say I did have CJ Stroud as QB1, which I was happy with. It was close for me. Like, I like Bryce Young. I still think he can turn it around, but I saw Stroud as the safer option. And, obviously he had a better rookie year. I got to think of a guy that I was like super high on that put together a strong year. That's a tough one. I'll tell you, I missed on Tank Dell. The receiver from Houston.
Everybody did though.
Yeah, well,
All the receivers. I didn't even know any of them could catch.
Yeah, like you could watch the dude, and obviously he's fast, he's quick. I was a little worried about the size, the physicality, and the drops. Drops weren't really a massive issue for him though. So, and he killed it in Houston. So he's someone I wish I could get back. I'll go Josh Downs. Josh Downs, receiver at North Carolina, got drafted by the Colts. He's someone who he fell to the third round. I saw him as an early second round pick. He ended up putting together 68 catches for 771 yards.
Wow, Pinky.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they almost let Pittman go. Who knows?
Yeah. And again, that's something I had to look up. I wish I knew that stuff off the top of my head. I'm not that smart. But yeah, no, Downs is somebody that I was happy with his performance. I don't think he should have fell to, what was it? It was still kind of early, round 3.
He was like mid-third, like in the 20-ish, like 15th pick in the third round or something like that.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. So the middle of round 3. I thought that was too late for him. So I guess that's one, tune it up for me, I guess.
Yeah, man. That draft was pretty tricky, but like
one lock player you think will hit our roster after draft, and I'll let you go because I'm gonna keep doing this. I was letting you go like 20 minutes ago.
No, I appreciate it. It's gonna sound lame. I'm gonna say Caleb Williams.
Okay.
I think that's my choice. I think that the writing's on the wall. So to that point, I think that all the reports that have come out of a lot of the how do you want to put it? A lot of the rumors, a lot of the speculation that Caleb doesn't want to go to Chicago, he's a bad teammate. A lot of those things I think are being debunked over the last couple of weeks. You're seeing that this guy really is a great teammate. He's a high character guy. There's nothing really to worry about there. That and the fact he's outright said he wants to play for the Bears, or he wouldn't say no, I guess is a better way to put it. That and the fact that there's the trade rumors from a Justin Fields perspective. I think the fact that there's as many teams floating around that market, and the fact that there are those discussions to begin with makes me think that he's being heavily shopped.
Jacob, do you remember when you talked me off the ledge with Fields when I was worried? They were starting all that propaganda about how he had what is that? He had that the seizure. You're like, dude, last time that happened when he was like 10 years old. And and then what was the other thing you were trying to? Oh yeah, he was a vegan or something. And you're like, he'll be fine. I was like, okay, bro, he's coming to Chicago. We got pizzas. And I was like,
and like. I will say real quick about Justin, like I feel bad about how the whole thing's worked out. Like
I do too, man.
If the Bears didn't have a top, I feel
bad timing.
Didn't have a top 2 pick, they'd keep him. It wouldn't even be a discussion. And
no questions asked.
You try to re-sign him, but you have the opportunity to draft a special quarterback prospect like Caleb Williams. You still don't really know what you have in Justin. I do think that he's going to go somewhere else. He'll be a solid starter.
I hope so.
I think they'll be able to unlock him a little bit more.
Yeah.
I just think the ceiling is much higher with Caleb at this point. So that's what I think they'll do. But again, it's absolutely nothing against Justin. By all accounts, great guy, hard worker, hell of an athlete. I think he's the most physically gifted quarterback the Bears have ever had. So he's fun to watch. So I will say that.
Hey, to add with that, I'd almost say athlete as well too, just in general. Not only just gifted as a quarterback, but athlete. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, I mean the size, the speed, the strength, the talent.
Which is why I say we're in the embarrassment of riches for the first time in this franchise's history. You can't go wrong with either way. So
Exactly.
if we do decide to, take the haul, and then Caleb Williams is still really good, we got the haul to still build around Fields too. So, yeah, but I do agree.
Just want him to get it right.
I feel Poles will.
Yeah.
No matter what happens. If he chooses to, say like, look, Caleb is awesome. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. However, just not with us because we want the Hall and we want to win rings now.
Yeah.
I won't be mad at that. But like I said, he better be true to his word by doing right by Justin as well, though.
Yeah, he should.
He's there's one thing for players that come in when you're bad and rebuilding. There's another to keep the team relevant while you're bad and rebuilding. So he Justin deserves that at least if we're gonna move on from him. So,
absolutely.
But
I agree for sure.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Hey, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys for having me. I enjoyed it. So.
Have a good night. Chi-town up and bear down, brother.
Yes, sir.
See ya.
Good.
So, guys, what did you guys take from that interview, man? That was a great interview, right?
Yeah, that was
absolutely.
awesome. It was nice to be able to pick his brain about the combine and certain guys that that I felt that there were some guys that I felt like were up here that I wanted to see if my scouting was up to par, and turns out there's a couple of guys that I had on there were right there where we were kind of like right here.
Yeah.
I got Chop Robinson a little bit higher than Lewoltu. I don't want to butcher the young man's name from UCLA. I have him like number 2. I like Chop Robinson, but again, that's more of what I saw, the athleticism that I didn't really see at Penn State in the combine. So that's why I was like, oh man, he's just wow. But I agree with him, the consistency factor and the fact that Lewoltu is just more polished, I wouldn't be mad either way. But I just like Chop Robinson because the off the scale athleticism that you just see, like the speed.
He's just a football player, man.
Football physique, all of it is just he looks the part.
The name, the name.
Yeah, that too.
Right.
So it was nice to hear his insight and everything. I definitely enjoyed that.
Yeah, I always when I said that he's one of my favorite follows on Twitter. I mean, I'm not on Twitter all the time, but I really respect a lot of the things that he puts out. So
yeah, he does a great job. I don't know if you guys noticed, but our views went way up when he went on, and then as he left, we lost a few. Hey, don't leave, guys.
Don't leave.
We got good
like, share, subscribe.
We got thoughts. We got thoughts.
We got thoughts.
Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Please keep in touch with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got plenty of info. We got plenty of insight. We got plenty of knowledge on our own right, too.
Yep. Leroy's got all that swag. He's got a good jersey. Come on, stay with us. Stay with us.
Yes,
I got the beard.
There you go. Yeah.
We all big guys. So we was giving love to the linemen today.
Right.
Offense and defense. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, if my wife better call an ambulance because I'm gonna try to do a cartwheel or something. I'm gonna try to do some form of gymnastics if there's an offensive lineman that goes in the top 5. It's been.
You better start stretching your back now, bro, because it's gonna happen.
Dude, I just cramped up. Hey, you guys go back to like the 48-minute mark in the show, and you'll see me like cramping up, and I'm like trying to stretch my legs.
That's what I'm doing. I'm like doing this the whole time with my back, trying to stretch my back out.
Yeah.
Hey, and he's right though. It's gonna happen, man. Like there's just the talent this year is just like I said,
just all over.
Well, and here's the other thing too, Pinky. I think people are really starting to realize when all of those great Roethlisbergers and Brady's and everybody started to come off, right?
Yeah.
And now you're starting to see these quarterbacks at a premium. You got to protect those investments. And you have to go out. You have to go out and get these guys. I mean, straight up, you got to get offensive linemen to protect you from mayhem. It's crucial. It's important. You saw what happened with Fields. You've seen what's happened with other players, other quarterbacks out there. Make no mistake about it, for the last decade, probably even longer, I would say that the offensive line position is starting to become a premium position only in of itself, because you are protecting your greatest investment on the football team, which is the quarterback, because he costs the most. You know what I'm saying, Dano? If he costs the most, you got to protect that. You got to get that insurance, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Hey, guys, and speaking of protected, we got to pay some bills really quick. So let's go over our sponsors real quick. Our fine list of wonderful sponsors with Worth Stadium Club, Bridges Scoreboard, your Northwest Indiana sports headquarters with a Hall of Fame menu. And yes, they do have great food here in Northwest Indiana, Dano. So don't shame me, brother. I'm 30 minutes away from Soldier Field. So Budget Cars, Serendipity Ice Cream Parlor, Underdog Fantasy. Oh my goodness, man. You want to win some money on an NBA game, on a hockey game. There's college, all of it. It's all right there. Enter the promo code CSP and they'll match your first $100. It's fast, it's easy, it's fun. And I mean, we love it. A few of us on the show have already won. You got to check it out, man. It's good stuff. And while you're at it, while you're collecting all of that cold cash from winning at Underdog Fantasy, sip down a really nice taste of El Bandito Yankee Tequila, smooth to the core, where the blue agave from our buddy Chris Chelios, who just hung it up, number 7 in the rafters, baby. So yeah, those are our fine sponsors, man. And I'll tell you what, that is a great list of people that take care of us, and we love them. So, yep, man. And you know what? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the show, like, be a friend, and tell a friend. Tell everybody about it. Tomorrow we have Dano up in the top left. He's going to be there with Matt Cooper. I'm sure they're going to be going over some Bulls, some Bear-centric stuff. And then we got Leroy. He's going to be following up on Thursday with quite a few fellas, and they're going to be going over some more Bears stuff. And I'm sure they'll be dipping into some baseball and stuff too, because we've got a lot of people out there. They've been wanting to hear about baseball, man. And I'll be honest with you guys, we love talking about baseball. 10 days ago, we had Bobby Denier on, and Fergie Jenkins called up Bobby from Arizona, where they had freaking what do you call it? The
spring training.
Spring
training. He called from there, bro. So I mean, we get.
You never know who's going to show up. You never know who's going to show up.
You never know who's going to show up, but you got to show up, because when I looked up there was no love for baseball. So if you want to complain about baseball, show up or shut up, because man, we had some greats, didn't we, guys?
Oh yeah,
man.
You don't get no better than that, right?
Bobby Denier's the tier, man.
Yeah, don't get no better than that, homie.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, and then Monday, of course, we got Eric leading off the week with Bulls, a Bull-centric version, and he's got some pretty good. Didn't who was that the other day that got like 500? What was that stat that he got? Was it somebody got like 500 rebounds or doubles or something? It was a crazy stat that came across the screen. But and Kobe White, Kobe's doing some nasty stuff out there too.
37 points.
37?
37 career high for him. New career high.
Dang.
Wow.
Hey, and you know what? Special shout out to kind of sort of over there by Leroy, but not really, in Iowa. CC over there just breaking all the records, most scoring records for men and women in college basketball.
Man, I'm hoping in some weird sneaky way that Chicago Sky can jump up. Right now we did make a trade. We got the 8th overall pick now, and I think we got up in the top 5 somehow, I believe.
Top 3 or something like that. I heard
3. Yeah. So I'm hoping we package those picks off to find a way to get number 1 and get Swagger. I don't see it happening, but the Chicago Sky rebuild is in full effect, and it's going to be great. We're going to be straight.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to start talking about that down the line, a little bit down the line, but we there. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, it's hard to balance. I mean, honestly, you guys know this. Everybody knows this. The Bears have always been first and foremost front runners over all the sports in Chicago. You know, honestly, if the Sox and the Cubs were doing better, if the Blackhawks were doing better, except for that young kid running out there on his skates now that he's back because he wired his mouth shut.
Bedard.
And now he's
Connor
doing
Bedard,
good.
baby.
Connor Bedard. You know what I
What
mean?
is the saying? What is the saying that baseball divides the city, football unites it?
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah. What does basketball do? I'm still waiting on that. You know, because
That's yeah.
Frustrates.
there was a young kid walking down the street with a basketball named Michael Jordan. Ever since then, it's not been the same, man.
Yeah, we'll get back to those glory days. So we'll get back there. Maybe Kobe might be the starting piece for that.
I hope
That'd be
so,
nice.
man. I hope so. I think Kobe needs a coach, but I'm not going to try
He
to
could be our mini Mamba. Let's hope.
little mini Mamba. Yeah. I don't want to get into too much of Eric's ball of wax, but
Yeah.
I really think that they could use a new coach and possibly remove AK, man.
Into existence. So speak that to existence next year.
Yeah.
We get
If we're speaking it into existence, Dano, let's go out and get ourselves a Mark Jackson, baby. Let's do it.
There we go.
Yes. Now you're talking. See, we on the same wavelength with that one.
Maybe
ever.
Maybe CC identifies as an NBA male and goes and shoots up 60 points on the Bulls, man. Maybe she gets signed by the Bulls, bro. Let's go. Let's go, Caitlin.
Whatever it takes, because she can shoot with the best of them.
Dude, I don't care. Hey, if I was as badass as CC Caitlin, I'd be like, remember them boys back in the day on the Bud Light commercials for the girls' night for the free beer? Where they dressed up in dresses in a long. Hey man, let's go. Freaking me, Leroy, and Dano. It's a ladies' night.
You bringing back memories. It was some funny stuff, bro.
Those were the best commercials, bro.
Man, they were really good too, bro.
Hey, so what's your guys' nugget of the day? What do you guys appreciate you heard the most, and what do you like going on so far?
Oh, you can start first, Dano.
Just in any news today, or just in general?
Just in general, something that you heard about Chicago sports that you really can sink your teeth into.
Well, just for you guys know, of course, that just sounding more and more like it's going to be Caleb Williams at one. I mean, from anybody that I respect, any of the reports from anybody I respect, it's what it sounds like. And in my opinion, that's the best move. But when it all comes down to it, as long as they make the right move, no matter what that move is, that's the move I want them to make.
Yeah.
For me, it's what hasn't been said. It's the fact that no one's really talking about what the Bears are going to do after the first pick. That's the thing that's been the most intriguing for me is because everyone's so focused on the first domino, but they're not ready for that extra uppercut. Everyone's worried about our first jab with that first pick. They don't know what's coming next. And I think that's the thing that's going to, shake the apple cart the most because no one knows exactly what the Bears are going to do. And I think the fact that we kind of already making these small sneaky moves with the 5th round pick trade, something big's coming. Like we're going to be the team that's going to make the biggest splash. For some reason, everyone's saying that it's going to be Washington or there's other teams and stuff like that. We're going to make the big splash with Caleb.
Yeah.
For some reason, what if we actually trade with Washington and Washington does something stupid and don't go after Caleb? We still get Caleb at 2 and we got a boatload of picks on top of it. That's been one of the things I've thought about the most too. Like, what if that's the big thing that's going to happen, that Washington is making this smoke screen outthinking themselves, and they do what Carolina did, overthinking and grab the wrong guy. We wind up getting the quarterback we want and all the picks on top of it, and we get the ultimate fleece again. I
could play devil's advocate because there's a similar situation that's going on, right, too, fellas, that in JJ McCarthy. He grew up a Bears fan, right? And by all rights, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. He didn't do too well.
I see a lot of
combine, but I don't think that's really going to stop me from, whatever. But at the same point in time, if you go ahead and you put him at the top, and we're number 2, flipped it, role reverse, whatever, I don't think that would preclude me from doing what I got to do. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, yeah, it would be nice. It would check a box, but I mean, Justin all the way from Georgia, man, and he had the number 1 jersey sale out of all of them. So I don't think it really a destination. It is nice. It's a warm and fuzzy. And every once in a while, I have to remember that Cole Kmet, is local. And the guy that hasn't even played a damn down that I thought was going to be our future center, Doug Kramer, he's from the area and he ain't done nothing. But I do see that, but I don't think that would be like a thing that would really like shake it up. But because Caleb is projectedly, quote unquote, number 1 overall of everything, and from Washington, I think it does play into all of that. Yeah. But how much to be said, I don't know. But I think if you took Caleb and removed that, let's say potentially he's from Oklahoma, I still think Washington at number 2 gets Caleb if he falls to them, regardless if maybe, freaking Michael Penix Jr. is from,
Caleb is literally the most talented guy that's in this. As far as quarterbacks go, he's the most talented quarterback. Bar none. Like there's no question about it. Yes, Penix, nice hands.
Caleb.
All the other guys got special stuff, but it's Caleb. Like let's not overthink it. Caleb. Yeah, he's literally the most talented guy that's out there.
But it's really hard to say because honestly, I see flashes in all of them, and I honestly, Dano, I don't really like break down college, and when I talk about film, there's a difference in film and highlights. I watch the damn highlights. I watch ESPN highlights. But if
I'm watching the all 22,
what's that?
It's not. You're not like watching the all 22 or whatever, breaking it down and
dude, there's some dudes out there that are like literally stone cold doing that, bro. I'm like,
right.
How you got time to do anything? You know what I'm saying? Leroy shaking his head, man. His hand ready.
Well, my thing for me is like watching the tape. The more and more I watch him, the more and more I feel like he's literally just a shorter, slower version of Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And that's why I've come to the conclusion where I'm happy either way. Because I'm still getting what I want. I'm just not going to get the super breakaway speed running down the field. I'm not going to get the 60-yard touchdowns, but I might get a 30-yard.
Well, and that's what's going to irritate you because while you continue to look at that film, you are going to see times where he's still going through his progression, and you see spots in the field where he could run to, and you've seen him take off like a prom dress. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm not as young as I used to be. That sounds like really weird. Let me go ahead and scrub that. I did
Can't
not
take that back.
Yeah, let's pull that. But flag. Hey, Pinky, you got to get yourself a yellow flag, man. Keep us in the bin. Whoa! Where did Serendipity Ice Cream Parlor go? You got to keep these sponsors, man.
Oh man.
Yeah. Getting back to that. Where the heck was I?
About how he runs off, takes off and runs.
Yeah, dude, you'll see where he's still going through his whole progression, and then he goes back and he hits the other field that scans this way, scans that way, and you're just like, just tuck it and go because you could easily get 15, 20 yards. He won't do that. He is all about that damn pocket, man. So I do know what you're saying. He does have a lot of yards, but not nearly as many as freaking Fields, man.
Yeah,
so,
and I think that's the difference between the two. Both hold on to the ball, but both hold on to the ball for different reasons.
Reasons. Yeah.
Fields is looking for guys to get open.
That's well put. I've never heard it like that.
To get open. If they don't get open, he's going to run. Yeah. Caleb is looking for guys to get open so he can go for the deep threat. He's more of the Aaron Rodgers type.
Right.
Like he can run but doesn't want to.
It's funny that you said that because that's his mentor, and he's been working out with Brady.
And that's the only thing that scares me. It's the only thing that scares me because, like, that's the thing that scares me. Like, it's encouraging, but it scares me because I would much rather my quarterback here in Chicago. I would much rather him run or throw the ball away to fight another down than risk the interception, or do what Fields is doing, holding the ball and just rush for like 5-6 yards, get something positive out of it. Yeah. Then hold on to it and then take the sack or something like that, or you throw the interception or
Well, I do have something encouraging for you, Leroy, and I do agree with you wholeheartedly. He pulled at my, my heartstrings all year long. I was wishing for him to do that. But here's what I'll say. They fleeced his offensive line after he won the Heisman. They went 7-6. Obviously, you guys all know they had really good DBs that went out and got, drafted and whatnot. Or not DBs, just defensive players in general. Yeah. So, now you're looking at a shell of itself in that team. And, the fact remains is this. The year before when he had those weapons, and this is what I've said about Fields too. The one argument stands for both. Okay, don't get it twisted. When he had that offensive line in his Heisman, and he had his weapons, and he had that defense, dude, I'm telling you right now, you go look at his numbers for holding on to the ball. It was exactly less than 1 second less than when he held on to this year, trying to play that hero ball. So that's something that he obviously has to work on, right, Leroy Dano?
Can you coach that out of somebody?
Yeah, you can. It just takes time.
You can. And you know what? I'm glad that you asked that question because I had Jim Miller on. Leroy knows. I had 3 shows with Jim Miller, all live appearances, one at the Old Mongos, one at Bridge Scoreboard, and then another one up in Roselle and Romeoville. But here's the deal. You look at all of that, and what he said is what you need to do is I thought that, a paintball gun would be good, After like 2-3 seconds, I'm starting to fire away. And he's like, no, you can't do that, bro. It's not going to – the players union is not going to allow you to just pick off a freaking quarterback, if he's freaking holding on to the ball for too long. We got to do something with like a whistle. I'm like, okay, well, we'll start there, But we were on the same page, you know what I'm saying? He said he does not have somebody that's doing that for him. Like
a shock collar.
Yeah, shock collar. There you go. And that what is that called? That invisible fence?
The electric fence.
Yeah, you try to cross the freaking the line of scrimmage.
Oh boy. I think this is something that I've been doing with my 9-year-old son. That helps speed up his release because he's got he's going to be going into tackle football next year and he's going to be
nice
for a quarterback and running back.
There you go.
And for his quarterback drills, because he wants to speed up his release time, I've been using a broom to simulate pressure in his face. So I take a broom after like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and I start going to the broom with his face to help him, help him quickly simulate, look here, your first read, first target, or your third, and your fourth. And if you can't get through fast enough, guess what? You're being tackled. So, and it helps him quickly learn, okay, this is how much time you got to hurry to get set, and boom, let go. I got, and eventually he's just going to start being able to read everything 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, in your head, that quicker rhythm. I think that's what Justin needs. He needs more of that training.
Okay.
I don't think, like I said, because Chicago hasn't been very good at developing quarterbacks, they haven't felt that was a need. And I think that's that was probably what Luke Getsey's downfall was. It wasn't so much the play calling may have been bad, but I think it was the development part that he felt more.
Yeah.
I think the plays could have worked if he would have developed him better.
But I'll tell you what's going to help develop who's ever behind center or under center is in that of itself, a center. Somebody that is a center.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't check C-Dub's, measurables as far as like high jump, but he better get a rocket packet on because if we get another guy that's going to hike the ball like Cody Whitehairs and, dude, he's going to have to jump to the moon, one-hand it, tuck it, and run just to get 2 yards instead of it being back in the end zone. You remember that?
One thing I do know about Caleb, he's not going to sit there and he's not going to be as humble as Fields is. He will say something. That's one thing I do respect about Caleb. He's going to say something, whether he's a weapon or not. He's going to say something to the center if they're messing up. Like, dude, you know what's
funny is he kind of reminds me like he's got that swag of like LeBron, where LeBron kind of puts together his team and he's always like talking to different players and stuff. And they were talking about that at the
new wave of how things are going to be.
They were joking around. Like, obviously it didn't even go down. Like, I don't think it went down. It could have went down, and I don't even know if it amounts to hill of beans. but he went right up to that wide receiver from Washington.
Rome.
Yeah,
I
Rome,
seen it,
yeah.
They were joking.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, get ready to play with me in Chicago." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey, dude, if it works, let's go." You know.
Yeah, right.
I'm all for that.
I wouldn't hate it.
But I could definitely see him, like Leroy just said, I could definitely see him being that leader that would bring people like, remember Rodgers did it. He's recruiting people like a mug over there in Green Bay and now over in the Jets and be, hey, come on, play with daddy. Let's go, you know?
I mean, like I said, it's the new wave of how things are done. You know, like just like Justin Fields, you know, saying his favorite player is, you know, LeBron James. So all these young guys, you know, they see what LeBron James is doing in that landscape.
Yeah.
You say that these guys
player empowerment.
You know, like and originally I thought about it like at first I saw it as a negative, but I don't now. You know, being so hungry and starving for a championship, I would much rather us Bears have a LeBron type quarterback on our team. Like he may not win all the Super Bowls, but damn it, he might get us all. He might get us to one.
Well, there's a chance. We got an opportunity every year.
Yeah. So
not only that, but it's also empowering people to want to come. It makes it sexy and appealing when you have somebody advocating like,
and then you get the Tom Brady effect.
Chicago's lit. Come play with me, man. We'll be boys.
Discounts and stuff that you get that started.
We'll break bread. We'll do whatever. We'll go check out the bean. You know, whatever. You know, whatever it takes. You know,
go eat at Olive Garden.
It seems like both quarterbacks we have that personality. So Olive Garden.
Hey man, like I got just an Italian named restaurant just coming up. You know. If my wife, thank God she never watches these podcasts for a couple reasons tonight, especially the prom dress. But you know, the other one, the freaking Olive Garden, bro. She's like, boy, you know what the heck's wrong with you? Because she used to work at Neiman Marcus as a store manager, and she knows all those spots. She knows the Gibson Steakhouse. She knows all and she'll be like, "You said Olive Garden on YouTube?"
Make me hungry, bro. Make me hungry. See, so you make me hungry. So now I gotta sit here and eat my Costco cinnamon rolls right now.
Ooh, nice.
I gotta start in on that now, bro. So you done started something. Start in on the cinnamon rolls, guys. Eat my sweets before dinner.
Bro, everybody in the chat, man, thank you so much for being live and lit. We got
you guys are awesome.
We got 23 and we got people in the YouTube land. Make sure you click the like button and subscribe. I mean, this was a great show. I'm so glad Jacob he travels well, bro.
Yeah.
He's the visiting team travels well, man. Thank you for all the people that came from WindyCityGridiron. You know, and make sure, you know, you check us out, check out our content. It's we're usually on a lot better behavior, so I'll take that. These two guys, I can't take them anywhere.
You can't take us anywhere. You can't put us together.
Oh Lord,
that was fun, man. Good
for sure.
That's awesome.
Yep. All right, boys. Hey, you have a good night. Thanks for answering the call. Short notice, but when you get a guy like Jacob in the building, you gotta roll out the red carpet, and whatever happens. You know.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, guys. Chi-Town up and bear down. Have a good night.
Yes, sir.